Alright, Sistas fans. Now, this video is for those, and I ain't gonna lie, I think I cracked a joke about this either online in a video about something along the lines of Fatima, using that bat to knock out Karen because, with the whole, I'm gonna get him back, just the nonsense behind that. But this video is kind of throwing my hat in the ring into the discussion of Fatima, when and if Fatima will put Karen in her place. Because to be completely honest, I do agree with some comments I read going, something along the lines of, I honestly don't think Fatima would be that person to return the same level of disrespect and immaturity that Karen threw at, Fatima. Now, the only time we really saw Fatima go off was during the scene in Andy's office. What was it? Towards the end of season 3, when at that point, it was just plain disrespect to Fatima's face, with Karen calling Fatima out of her name and everything. And I mean, hell, didn't she even call Fatima a bitch to Danny in the mid-season finale when she went over to the house, Danny's apartment? And I still will do a video on that. It's just that I don't want to rush just yet, because trust and believe, if I actually put my all into today and tomorrow, I can get all of my Sistas content done. But it's only the beginning of the week, and this is the first week without the show, so I need to kind of stretch it out just a little bit. But I don't know if it's going to happen. And I think that I was reading the comments on my recent upload about will Fatima tell Karen goodbye at the door when she comes to Zach's house? And remember, Goodbye at the Door is the name of the episode that will be airing on June 29th, season 4, episode 12, when the show returns. And I thought, you know what? Maybe I should take a moment to read into the title of the episode, because it makes the most sense that it applies to Karen going over to Zach's house. And from there, I mentioned in the video that, yeah, Goodbye at the Door makes sense because Zach and Fatima are going through a lot right now. And the last thing they need is for Karen to come over, because with Fatima feeling the way she is now, this is not the time for one of those Karen stunts when, Zach is literally with his new partner. The difference between, and look, Zach did the same stuff. He would always pop up when Aaron and Karen were around. When Aaron, see, I'm stuttering because I still wish that Tyler at least gave Aaron a different name so it didn't sound so close to Karen. Okay. Zach would always pop in whenever Karen was at her place and Aaron was around too. So yeah, Karen's doing the same thing, but I feel like the difference here is, and I'm not saying either one of them, is in the right for doing what they're doing now, but Zach and Fatima are actually in a relationship, whereas Karen was still kind of deciding how she felt about Aaron. Zach and Fatima are in love. They are together. They're talking about moving in. Whereas Karen is like, I want him back. I want him back. And it's been said many times, many ways, Mary. Okay, never mind. That, yeah. And I've been saying this for a while. The reason characters like Andy, characters like Karen can't stand it when, for Andy it's Gary and for Karen it's Zach, when their men, if you will, decide to freestyle, ad-lib, not play to the script that they've been playing for so long. With Andy and Gary, it's, about Gary being jealous, being, verbally controlling and manipulative. Basically, Andy thrives all that drama. And then if you look at like season 3, especially when he started talking to his therapist, Gary wasn't here for it. Yeah, he was still a piece of crap, but guess what? Look at season 3, and I do believe it's still on BET Plus as of recently. You'll notice in a lot of their quote-unquote arguments and whatnot, Andy's usually the one to start shit. She will come into her apartment. She will notice Gary just sitting at the counter or whatever, and then she will be the one to initiate a confrontation, but Gary wasn't there for it. He was like, no, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to get a rise out of me and whatnot, but I'm not doing it. My therapist said this. And yeah, the therapist, she had her own agendas and whatnot, but she was absolutely right. Not just about Andy, but about Gary as well. It's like you love the thrill of the chase, the hunt. And as soon as you get the object of your affection, then that's pretty much it. You lose interest. So I feel like when it comes down to it with Karen and Zach, they had that 3 years of on and off again relationship. And the moment that Zach decides to play off script, that's when she gets all worked up. Keep in mind, Karen was the one that was fed up first. She was the one that officially ended things with Zach multiple times in season 1. She wanted to, be with Aaron. So how is that fair? But when it comes to Zach deciding, I want better, I'm going to be with Fatima, then you act out of, sorts. And it's just one of those things where that's the way it really works in real life. I mean, that's not to say I like Karen, any more, any less, because I realize that. It's just the fact that, well, sometimes you have to realize closure is something you don't get, because keep in mind, when you look at season 1, Karen really didn't need a moment to think about, dropping Zach and being with Aaron. She decided it's like she literally gave Zach a full monologue a couple times, actually. That was really heartfelt. If you go back and listen to them, the thing about it is, though, when you listen to those speeches she gave Zach, while they are good in isolated instances, it contradicts everything that Karen is basically saying and doing now in regards to how Zach has moved on. Something that you have to learn is that the closure you want from somebody, usually you don't get. I mean, it's a rare occurrence if you're blessed. I mean, I know the people that say, hey, I'm still friends with all my exes. We're on good terms and whatnot. Sometimes males and females. Honestly, I feel like more females say that than males, at least in my friend circle. But 9 times out of 10, male or female, whoever, the person you needed to help you heal has already moved on. I was trying to do a Karen impression, but my heart wasn't into it. They moved on. And it's just one of those things where you feel like you don't have Karen doesn't feel like she has the safety net she used to have. And I mean, she's literally grasping at straws, just trying to find any way to have any leverage over Zach's life, being the pregnancy or trying to talk down about, oh, he's always doing some illegal stuff and yada yada. And just the way she's acting now is just more solid proof that, yeah, even if she was still in a relationship with Zach, she hasn't changed. That's the one thing that always kind of irks me about Karen. She talks about and notices how much Zach has changed, the new Zach and everything, but she fails to realize the impact of how the old Karen really pushed him away. He made it clear in the season 3 finale about how she talks down to him and, this and that, and how she hurt him, but all she did was brush it off like it was nothing. And I feel like when it comes down to it, fans are ready for Fatima to put Karen in her place. Now, the thing about it is, I still say that even if she goes to the doctor with Aaron and it turns out his timeline is 1,000% correct, indicating that there's a strong, if not 100% likelihood that he is the father, Karen probably won't tell Zach. She'll probably still be chasing after him. And as a result, and that's the thing though, I don't think that the baby being Aaron's is an automatic, you know what, I'm going to stop chasing Zach. No, it's just like she can't really use that as a reason to stay connected to him, because it would just be a low down, dirty thing for Tyler to do for the character of Karen, to drag her through the mud even more than to just simply have her lie about the pregnancy still being Zach's, even though the doctor said it was Aaron's. I mean, the only way I could see Zach finding out about it is the next time that he and Aaron are on the basketball court together, and let's say the baby comes up into discussion. And then Aaron will probably say something about it, and Zach will be like, oh, wow, okay, we cool then. We cool. It's like, that's your baby? Yeah, we went to the doctor and everything. You know what? You okay in my book, man. You okay in my book. I don't know why I think that would be funny. But I don't think Fatima is going to go down to the level of, cursing out Karen, even though, to be completely honest, I feel like she needs less of a friend and more of a therapist, somebody who's going to give her tough love, even though Danny pretty much did that in the mid-season finale. I just feel like Karen needs to let it go. I mean, think about it this way. What happened with Zach? Her mother sat down with Zach basically explaining that, you know, hey, my daughter wants a better version of you. And like, not even just that, it's the fact that Zach, you need to stop making excuses for your life and do something with it. And as a result, he decided to better himself. And guess what? He found somebody to help him along the way, Fatima. With Karen, that's the thing. Karen has not once accepted that she needs to change. Go back to like season 3. I think it was one time where, like, you know, Aaron was on the couch with Karen and he was talking about how you got flaws and things you need to work out too. And like, excuse me, she doesn't want to hear that. It's just the fact that, what is it? When you start to better yourself, you attract better things for you. I forgot the saying, but I see this quote all the time. Like, as soon as you decide to make a change in your life and better yourself, that's when more opportunities and better things come in your way. Let's say you decide to start exercising, or maybe you decide to apply for a better job and you get more money, you get a new car and whatever. That's not to say everything is materialistic and only based off looks, but sometimes that's how it works. You know, as soon as you got like if you carry yourself differently, you realize your options actually begin to increase. You won't feel like you're settling. Sometimes it's like, okay, all right, I'm actually in a position where I have more people who are attracted to me than ever before. And, you know, when it comes to Karen, I feel like she's willingly pushing aside. What was that? It's a meme, not a meme, but a picture. I know you all have probably seen it. It's like this little girl with like a teddy bear, and like Jesus is kneeling at her, and the little girl is like, but I love it so much, Jesus, I don't want to let it go. Because I think behind Jesus's back is like an even bigger bear, basically showcasing that it's hard to let things go, especially if you love them. But sometimes you need to let go of things in order to make room for something better. I know Steve Harvey made an analogy about that before, something along the lines of how he said when he was young, he wanted a new car, and his mom or his dad said, well, first you got to get rid of the old hunk of junk that's in the garage right now. That way you can have space for a new car. So basically, yeah, you got to let go of some things. And it's not necessarily that the things you're holding on to are junk or trash. As Fatima said, sometimes it's just not a good fit. You just gotta let go of some things instead of trying to force it to work out in order for something that actually is for you, or someone who is for you to help you better yourself. That's what's going to happen. And to be honest, I still don't fully trust Aaron and whatnot. But go back to season 2. The sisters actually noticed a positive change in how Karen was acting. She wasn't cussing as much. She was carrying herself a bit differently. Jokingly, she was kind of dressing more like a church wife. This was like during the early stages of season 2. You know, kind of the first girls' night where everybody met Fatima for the first time. And that was really a positive shift in her character. But that's the thing, though. Karen just feels like, instead of being with someone who treats her the way she should be treated, she just wants to go back to what she's familiar with. Because guess what? That goes for all of us. We usually want to stay within the realm of our comfort zone of what's familiar and what works for us. But sometimes you need somebody to push you into the deep end of the pool before you know how to swim. And that's the thing with the baby. If it turns out it is Aaron's kid, that's going to be that kick in the pants that Karen needs. And unfortunately, I hate to say that, you know, oh wow, it's only because of the pregnancy and this kid is the way for Karen to open her eyes, because that feels like a weird way of wording it, but that's sometimes how it is nowadays. So it just seems to me that Aaron isn't going to wait around forever. So I just feel like Karen needs to decide what she wants, because bet money if Aaron decides, you know what, Karen, I won't call you anymore, come around. Because what was it, when he was crying in his car, she was like, no, we could still be friends, Aaron. Bet if Aaron started dating someone else in the next episode, or not that next episode, but let's say they go to, let's say around the middle of the season, whatever. If Aaron started dating someone else, Karen would be acting towards him the same way Danny is with Preston, intruding in his life the same way she's doing with Karen, to be honest. I mean, Zach, to be honest, just because she needs to control somebody's life. That's how she is. But I know I'm kind of going on a tangent. It's like, wow, Jeremy, this was an interesting video, but what does it have to do with Fatima? I talked about that earlier in the video. I just really want to focus more on the Karen angle because I don't see Fatima necessarily getting into it with Karen anytime soon because she, like she said, I was just like you before. I know what it's like, but I feel like the only time, well, honestly, I don't think Fatima's going to like mark her territory, so to speak, because of the fact that I feel like she trusts Zach a lot more now. Not the fact that Zach isn't going to have a backslide moment like he did with Karen when they were in her office, in season 2. So I feel like because she trusts her man, she's not going to go out of her way to kind of, put Karen in her place, even though somebody needs to, because at some point it's just, she's been far more than disrespectful at this point. But I think it just depends on how far along they go into this, because let's say if Zach does find out Karen isn't carrying his child, yeah, I could definitely see Fatima having an issue with Karen popping up, because at this point it's like, look, I've been playing cool because, you could be carrying the child, but the fact that you don't have, Zach's child in your stomach and he's moved on with me, don't be coming around here anymore. But I just feel like, I don't want this to go further down the acrimony route, any more than it already has. But let's be honest here. If Zatima doesn't premiere until after season 4, as I already speculated, and it doesn't seem like the Val and Crystal are in Tyler Perry Studios, or at Tyler Perry Studios as of recently, yeah, it doesn't seem like Karen's going to continue this route past season 4. At least I hope not. So I think Fatima is confident that Zach is able to handle Karen, but at the same time, Karen's going to cross that line. The fact that she straight up said to Danny, I'm going over there right now to get him back. We're talking to a Fatima that just railed on a car with a baseball bat, confronted Gary and Hayden, comes back to the house and finds out about Zach being set up for being somebody's baby daddy. Yeah, she's not in the mood for Karen's crap, so I don't think Fatima is going to be the same patient and understanding Fatima we saw before. Only a couple episodes before, because I can see now Karen comes over, sees that Zach is there, and is like, yep, I knew you were lying to me. And Fatima, I feel like Zach's going to be like, no. And, he'll probably squash the situation. But, yeah, what do you think? Do you think Fatima's ever going to put Karen in her place? Or is it a situation where Karen is just going to keep coming at Zach until he does something? And, what can he do? He's already made it clear that he's moved on and doesn't want her. But, hey, let's talk about it more in the comment section below. Take a moment to hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description. Hit subscribe and hit the bell icon and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post content on the channel.